Joseph Goebbels is often seen as the embodiment of the Nazi regime's propaganda power, a master of hateful messages and repeated lies that became truth in the eyes of the masses. If Adolf Hitler served as the leading figure ideologically and militarily, then Goebbels was the tireless wordsmith, turning extreme views into a weapon on the spiritual battlefield. By manipulating the press, radio, cinema, and a range of propaganda tools, Goebbels fueled anti-Semitic rhetoric, spreading fear and fanaticism throughout Germany, and thereby helped propel millions of people toward a devastating historical chasm. He was born in 1897 in Reich, a small industrial town in Prussia, now part of Germany. Joseph Goebbels had a turbulent childhood. A leg deformity left him physically frail and reliant on crutches. Possibly due to this insecurity, Goebbels developed a thirst for learning and a strong desire to prove himself. He studied philosophy and literature, attempting to become a renowned writer, though he never achieved the fame he craved. His life took a dramatic turn when he became attracted to radical nationalist ideas after World War I. In 1924, Goebbels encountered Adolf Hitler and was captivated by the man's oratorical skill and vision for the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP. From an uncertain young man, Goebbels soon became an enthusiastic party member. He abandoned romantic notions of literature for a political career, convinced he could bring about a social revolution through his pen and rhetorical talent. In 1926, Hitler appointed him as Gauleiter, regional party leader of Berlin, which was then a stronghold of leftists and liberal intellectuals. Under Goebbels' leadership, the city witnessed increasingly frequent Nazi rallies, complete with hateful slogans and leaflets. He founded scandal sheet newspapers to slander opponents, spin rumors, and orchestrate disruptive demonstrations for publicity. It was Goebbels who formulated the concept of modern propaganda for the Nazi Party. He recognized that winning public support required tapping into emotion, fear, pride, anger. He promoted the constant repetition of slogans such as "Jews are the internal enemy," "The nation is in peril," and "Hitler is the savior." Goebbels believed firmly in the principle that a lie repeated often enough would be accepted as truth. In 1933, when Hitler became chancellor, Joseph Goebbels was appointed Minister of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda, a pivotal position that oversaw all press, publishing, film, radio, and art. Soon, Germany's media were Nazified, serving the regime's aims, glorifying the Führer, crushing opposition, and blaming Jews for every economic or social hardship. Goebbels championed the organization of book burnings, intended to cleanse German literature of ideas the Nazis considered degenerate or un-German. Thousands of books by Jewish authors, leftists, or anyone deemed morally unfit were consigned to the flames. Films, theater, and music were likewise censored. Filmmakers like Leni Riefenstahl received support from Goebbels to produce works extolling Aryan supremacy and Hitler's messianic persona. He also made shrewd use of radio. At the time, broadcasting was a relatively new medium with significant reach. Under his direction, affordable Volksempfänger radios were mass-produced so ordinary Germans could hear Nazi speeches and propaganda broadcasts everywhere. Through radio, Goebbels shaped public opinion, reinforcing an image of a powerful Germany while stoking hatred toward the Jewish enemy and warning of international plots meant to tear Germany apart. He focused especially on anti-Semitic propaganda, making the Jewish population a scapegoat for every crisis in Germany. Episodes such as the November 1938 Kristallnacht, when Jewish businesses and synagogues were destroyed, were portrayed in Goebbels' propaganda as the righteous anger of the public against a Jewish conspiracy. In reality, he either orchestrated or fomented such violence, then used the media to explain it as a natural result of national outrage. These hateful themes pervaded films, posters, and newspapers. Goebbels oversaw caricatures depicting Jews as parasites or vermin, fueling public revulsion. He believed that once the concept of us versus them was firmly ingrained, Germans would no longer view Jews as fellow citizens, and would accept measures to isolate, dispossess, and ultimately exterminate them. When World War II broke out, Goebbels' propaganda apparatus continued to wind up public fervor, portraying Germany as liberating Europe from Bolshevism and greedy British American interests. Even as defeats mounted, he clung to the principle of show the people only victory. He concealed heavy losses, exaggerated achievements, and as circumstances worsened, he called for total war, urging Germans to sacrifice everything for final victory. By late 1944, with Soviet troops and the Western Allies overwhelming Germany, the Nazi regime was on the brink. Nevertheless, Goebbels refused to concede. He took to the radio, delivering confident speeches about imminent victory and Hitler's secret weapons, though he must have known they were hollow fantasies. In the final days of the Third Reich, Goebbels stayed with Hitler in the Berlin bunker, watching each grim military dispatch and realizing their end was near. Yet his unwavering devotion to Hitler stopped him from fleeing. On April 30th, 1945, when Hitler died by suicide, Goebbels briefly became Germany's chancellor in name alone. Only a day later, he and his wife Magda killed their 6 children in the bunker before ending their own lives. It was a final, harrowing act. Goebbels refused to accept a future without Hitler and the Nazi ideal, and his family died with him. Joseph Goebbels' legacy is not just that of a gifted orator, but rather the key figure in spreading the flames of hatred. Through media control, he emboldened an entire nation to embrace genocide and expansionist war. He was the brain that forged a cohesive propaganda narrative through newspapers, radio, and film, shaping deceptive slogans and sowing fear far and wide. His ultimate legacy is measured in the countless graves and deep scars left on human history. The Nazi regime showed how combining political power with extremist propaganda could foster a collective nightmare, perverting morality and elevating hatred to its highest pitch. Goebbels' story demonstrates the terrifying power of words. Once they fall into evil hands, they can manipulate an entire society, paving the way for unimaginable crimes. On another level, the tragic fate of the Goebbels family underscores the terrible cost of fanaticism. Driven by a deluded resolve to protect Hitler and Nazism, Joseph Goebbels forsook any shred of humanity, even the lives of innocent children. It serves as a reminder of the thin line between loyalty and destruction, between patriotism and blind hatred. In the ashes of the Third Reich, the image of this propaganda mastermind continues to warn us: never underestimate the power of incessantly repeated lies.